and welcome. This is ASO TV News. I am Tina Oje Achi. The headlines. Vice President Shettima urges National Council on Skills to ensure made in Nigerian products meet global standards. LCT Minister Barrister Wike inspects key judicial infrastructure projects in Abuja. Defense Headquarters debunks viral post misrepresenting CDS Oluyede's remarks on Operation Safe Corridor. And now the news in detail. Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged members of the National Council on Skills to ensure that made in Nigerian products and services attain and sustain world-class standards as part of effort to drive the country's industrialization agenda. Speaking while chairing the 8th meeting of the Council of the Presidential Villa Abuja, Shettima urged stakeholders across federal ministries, state government, and the private sector to harness the innovative energy of Nigerians to power ongoing economic transformation. He said the ingenuity of Nigerians visible in workshops, schools, and informal sectors must be deliberately channeled into building globally competitive products and services. In a statement issued by Senior Special Assistant to the President and Media and Communications Office of the Vice President Stanley Nkocha, Shettima said the federal government goal is to ensure that made in Nigeria is synonymous with world class. The VP noted that the Council's responsibilities go beyond preparations for the 48th World Skills Competition scheduled for Shanghai in 2026, stressing that the initiative represents a broader ambition to position Nigeria for global relevance. According to him, the vision spans diverse sectors from technology hubs in Lagos to industrial clusters in Nnewi and agricultural innovation in Benue, all contributing to a unified national objective. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Nyesom Wike, has continued his inspection of ongoing infrastructure projects across Abuja, expressing satisfaction with the pace and quality of work. Speaking to journalists after the exercise, the minister disclosed that the Court of Appeal complex located in Dakibio is nearing completion and is expected to be delivered by May 2026. In time for inauguration activities marking the 3rd anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Barrister Wike said the inspection also covered residential facilities for judicial officers, including over 20 duplexes at the FCT High Court, judges' quarters, as well as magistrate quarters. He noted that the administration is taking additional steps to enhance security around the estate by reclaiming adjoining lands and restricting access to only verified occupants.
It's very important to note that this is the first time that the government has tried to provide basic infrastructure for the Nigerian Law School. You remember too, I've awarded the building of auditorium for them. Very soon the contractor will move to the site. So I'm sure that the Nigerian Law School will be happy that accommodation has been provided for the students. That also means that they may increase the number of enrollment, because accommodation has been a major issue. And so when we were told, we felt that we were going to make our own contribution.
The minister further revealed that while most of the housing projects are expected to be completed by the end of May, residencies for top judicial officers, including the chief judge of the LCT and heads of key courts, will be ready by October this year. He reaffirmed the administration's commitment to delivering functional and secure living environments for members of the judiciary. On the ongoing remodeling of the Abuja City Gates, Barrister Wike described the project as a landmark effort aimed at redefining the capital's identity. He explained the redesign will feature a water fountain representing the 36 states and the FCT, alongside recreational spaces for residents and visitors, adding that the project, initiated following the vision of the First Lady, is also on track for commissioning during the administration's 3rd anniversary. Now, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening ties with the European Union following a courtesy visit by the EU delegation in Abuja. Barrister Wike expressed appreciation for the visit, noting Nigeria's long-standing relationship with the EU and President Bola Tinubu's expectations to sustain and deepen cooperation with EU member states.
People who have nothing to do. Who funds the judiciary? It's not through the executive. You hear all sorts of stories. And so for us, it doesn't make sense. Remember that even all the courts, even the INEC, even National Assembly, was built by the FCDA. So if we are doing nothing that is new, it has been there. So we are not perturbed at all by all these accusations. So it doesn't make sense. Our focus will not be distracted. Now, the judges that will sit here, are they all the judges in the Federation? Remember, take for example, Court of Appeal, you have been transferred from one division to the other division. And then also the same thing with the Federal High Court. So this doesn't make sense. The people with idle minds who do not have anything to do. There's nothing far you would do that people will not criticize. The executive is the one that provides funds for the judiciary and the legislature. So if we provide funds to them without carrying out this, we will not be influencing them. It doesn't make sense. So nobody should bother himself or herself on such, lazy talks.
On EU relationship, the minister also acknowledged the EU support to the FCT, particularly in the justice sector, including contributions to the development of the FCT High Court and broader judicial reforms. He assured the delegation of continued partnership to enhance the administration and dispensation of justice in the territory. On Land Administration, Wike addressed concerns over allocations to EU local staff, requesting a list of applicants to facilitate consideration. He further disclosed efforts by the FCT administration to recover lands previously allocated to some European countries but encroached upon by land grabbers, assuring that such plots would be returned to the rightful beneficiaries. Earlier, the head of the EU delegation to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Ambassador Gautier Mignaud, described Nigeria as a key trade and development partner, highlighting ongoing collaboration in areas such as urban development, justice reform, and social services. He also sought stronger engagement with the FCT administration, including participation in EU's ambassadors' meeting and support for initiatives such as investment promotion and the reopening of the IBB Golf Club. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of Professor Taiwo Yunusa as the substantive Chief Medical Director of the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Gwagwalada. Professor Yunusa was presented with his appointment letter by the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, at his office in Abuja. A statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Sani Suleiman, said the new CMD has officially assumed duty after receiving the handing over notes from the acting CMD, Professor Bob Ukono, at the hospital's premises in Gwagwalada, Abuja. Professor Taiwo Yunusa previously served as the leader of the NCDC Isolation and Treatment Center in Gwagwalada, where he coordinated professional medical teams during critical health interventions. Speaking after assuming office, Professor Yunusa thanked President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the confidence reposed in him. Through the appointment, he pledged to strengthen healthcare service delivery at the hospital, in line with the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. Professor Yunusa, who is also a consultant physician with expertise in severe acute respiratory infection, isolation and treatment, called on the management and staff of the UATH to give him maximum support and cooperation to move the hospital to greater heights. The Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Ruwan Disu, has submitted a framework for the establishment of state police to the Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibrin, as part of the effort to decentralize policing in the country. The police boss submitted the framework to Senator Barrow, who chairs the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution, at the Senator's office in the National Assembly, Abuja. A statement by the Special Advisor to the Deputy President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ismail Mudashi, said the 75-page framework was submitted on behalf of the IGP by the chairman of the committee set up by the Nigerian Police Force to examine the modalities for the establishment of state police in Nigeria. The IGP said the report covers the considered views, professional insight, and strategic recommendations of the force derived from extensive consultations and a careful assessment of the operational, legal, and administrative implications of instituting state police in Nigeria. Responding, the Deputy President of the Senate commended the IGP for his proactiveness on the establishment of the state police in line with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's agenda to fully secure the country. He said the Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution under his chairmanship will look at the framework, along with all other memos submitted to it for the review of the countries. And now, the newly appointed Commissioner of Police for the Federal Capital Territory, CP Ahmed Mohammed Sanusi, has pledged a firm crackdown on criminal activities, declaring that crime will have no place under his leadership. Addressing journalists during his inaugural press briefing, CP Sanusi expressed gratitude to the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Disu, for entrusting him with the role. He emphasized that his administration will adopt a proactive, intelligence-driven and professional policing approach aimed at not only responding to crime, but preventing it before it occurs. He warned that the command would be relentless in identifying and apprehending criminal elements across the FCT.
Many of you are familiar with my professional approach. I will attest. Crime does not thrive where I serve. During my tenure, crime will have no place in the FCT. Under my leadership, the command will be proactive, intelligence-driven, professional, and relentless in its operation. We shall leave no stone unturned in ensuring that criminal elements are identified, pursued, and flushed out of the FCT. My objective is not only to respond to crime, but to deter and prevent it before it occurs.
He also issued a strong directive to officers and personnel of the command, stressing that indiscipline and unprofessional conduct would not be tolerated.
To the officers and men of the FCT Police Command, I make it clear that no form of indiscipline or unprofessional conduct will be tolerated. All personnel must remain civil in their interactions with members of the public and uphold the highest standards of professionalism in the discharge of their duties. I am fully committed to working around the clock, and I expect the same level of dedication from all personnel. Together, we will ensure that the command remains steps ahead of crime and criminality at all times.
He assured residents that the FCT Police Command remained dedicated to protecting lives and property while fostering a secure environment for all. You are watching ASA Television News. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, also on Star Times TV channel 127 and Free TV channel 507. We are also on the UHF band on channel 38. Still to come, Defense Headquarters debunks viral post misrepresenting CDS Oluyede's remarks on Operation Safe Corridor. Stay with us for details of these and more stories shortly.
Some things don't arrive, they've always been. Not for a day, for all of time. Until quietly something shifts. Moving from someday to now. Women are not honored in time. They are woven through it, shaping every story, every voice, every breath. We are because she is. and because tomorrow they will be.
Many thanks for joining us again. The Plateau State Forum Abuja of the All Progressives Congress has declared its total support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Caleb Mutfwang ahead of the 2027 general elections. The chairman of the forum, Mr. Yakubu, made this known during a news briefing in Abuja. Topsy Gimba has the details.
Mr. Yakubu Pam Sakundong said the briefing was organized to express a collective appreciation for the leadership of President Bola Tinubu and the current strategic direction in strengthening the party across the country. Mr. Sakundong said that it is under the leadership of President Tinubu the party has to grow in structure, inclusiveness, and national appeal, especially with the election of Professor Nantewe Yelwada as national chairman of the party, APC.
For the first time in history of the APC, for the first time in history, the APC secured victory in 5 out of the 6 area councils in the Federal Capital Territory. This achievement is a clear indication of renewed confidence of FCT citizens on the leadership and direction of the party. We equally acknowledge and appreciate the active role played by Chief Barrister Nyesom Ezenwo-Wike, Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, whose commitment and collaboration significantly contributed to the success of the APC in the APC area council elections. We therefore congratulate all the newly elected chairmen. We therefore congratulate all the newly elected chairmen and councillors across the FCT area councils and wish them a productive and successful tenure as they serve the people. As we approach the 2027 elections, ASFA, that's APC Plateau State Forum, Abuja, unequivocally endorsed President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to continue as President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Governor Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang of Plateau State for their second terms in office.
Chairman said since the assumption of office, Professor Nantewe Yelwada in July 2025 has been able to introduce several innovative reforms aimed at modernizing and consolidating the party, including electronic registration and party members, among other achievements. Topsy Gimba, reporting for ASO Television News.
The National Orientation Agency and the Securities and Exchange Commission have signed a memorandum of understanding to enlighten Nigerians on safe investment practices and prevent the spread of Ponzi schemes. The Director General of NOA, who was represented at the event by the Director of Special Duties and State Operations, David Akoji, affirmed the agency's readiness to work with SEC to achieve the set objectives. He noted that there have been several reports in the past of financial crimes disguised as investment opportunities, stressing that the collaboration will provide Nigerians with the necessary information to make informed financial decisions. He applauded SEC for initiating the partnership and emphasized that the NOA remains committed to achieving the objectives of the collaboration. He disclosed that capacity building programs for the agency staff will commence soon to ensure that accurate information is disseminated across the length and breadth of the nation on safe investment practices. Speaking, the Director General of SEC, Dr. Momotimi Agama, who was represented by the Commissioner for Operations, Bolaji Ajimola, also expressed excitement about the collaboration. He noted that there have been growing concerns about financial scams disguised as legitimate investment schemes in the past. He stated that SEC has already launched widespread campaigns against such occurrences, but requires the extensive grassroots reach of the NOA to effectively inform Nigerians nationwide. The Defense Headquarters has debunked and rejected a misleading social media report on the comments of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oloyede, on Operation Safe Corridor. In a statement issued on Thursday, the Director of Defense Information, Major General Samaila Uba, said the post falsely portrayed the armed forces of Nigeria as prioritizing leniency for terrorists over justice for victims. He described the narrative as a deliberate misrepresentation that undermines ongoing national security effort. According to Major General Ba, Operation Safe Corridor is not an amnesty program, but a structured initiative focused on the de-radicalization, rehabilitation, and reintegration of surrendered and carefully screened low-risk former combatant. The program is part of a broader counterinsurgency strategy that combines both military and non-military approaches. The statement added that hundreds of individuals have gone through the initiative since its inception, contributing to intelligence gathering and weakening insurgent networks. Clarifying the context of the CDS remarks, DHQ explained that Olufemi Oluyede spoke during a professional military doctrine lecture where he emphasized the importance of multi-dimensional conflict resolution. His comments, the statement added, reflected global best practices where rehabilitation efforts complement military operations rather than replace them. Now, the Directorate of Sport in Abuja Region 46 of the Redeemed Christian Church of God has unveiled its third edition of the ROCCG Sports Festival, themed Celebrating Strength in Sport. The sports director, Pastor Oyedele Adeleke, announced this in this year's edition will feature the novelty pastors and their spouses games. Daniel Obi reports.
Speaking at the unveiling ceremony held at the region's headquarters, Regional Pastor Ola Adejube, drawing inspiration from 1 Timothy chapter 4 verse 8, highlighted the importance of physical fitness and spiritual growth.
I can assure you that we have more than a dozen of footballers that we have brought into the church, and we have used the platform of the church to help outside the country. Because the person in charge is even a coach at the University of Lagos Sports Club. So that aspect of the program is going to be brought up very soon. We're going to be giving our people the appropriate support and platform, connect them with other cities and nations of the world where they can showcase their talent and bring more glory to God.
In his opening remarks earlier, the sports director, Pastor Oyedele Adeleke, announced that the festival is expected to attract over 5,000 participants and spectators alike, a significant increase from the 1,500 to 2,000 participants as recorded in previous editions.
It's going to be one of our focus this year. Another thing I want to put across to us is that during this year, we also agreed to have what we call for the first time and first of its kind, pastors and pastors' wife games. We want to make sure that our pastors who have been working tirelessly night and day spiritually, we want to take them to the position of physical so that we can see their strength in that area too.
The sports director noted that the festival aims to increase female participation in sports, providing a platform for women to showcase their talents and contribute to the overall development of the church. Daniel Obi, ASO Television News.
That's the bulletin, but before we go, let's take another look at one of our major stories. As City Minister Barrister Nyesom Wike has continued his inspection of ongoing infrastructure projects across Abuja, expressing satisfaction with the pace and quality of work. That's the news. I am Tina Oje Achu. Many thanks for watching.